you, for sure, are destroying yourself. You are damaging yourself. You are harming yourself. And I'm here to tell you how to stop destroying yourself. You destroy yourself in so many ways. You sabotage your life in so many ways. Some ways are obvious. We'll talk about the obvious ways you destroy yourself. And some ways I would call subtle, where you destroy yourself and don't necessarily know it. By the way, when I say you're destroying yourself, I include myself in that. I'm very aware of it, and I work against it to have a constructive lifestyle, but it's an ongoing process. So when I say you're destroying yourself, I mean all of us are and have and will be, unless we have this knowledge. The title of today's presentation is How to Stop Destroying Yourself. I'm Dr. Arnold Nerenberg. I've been a licensed clinical psychologist for over 50 years. I'm 84 years of age. As I like to say, I finally know what I'm doing. So I can tell you things that you're not going to know, you're not going to hear anywhere else. I'm going to tell you things about yourself that you're not aware of. Some of the things I'm going to tell you know about you, and tell you things you don't know about you. I can do that. I've been around that long. I've seen thousands of people. And I've seen myself. I've looked within myself. And, you know, when people say to me, Dr. Nerenberg, how you doing? I go, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm happy, I'm sad. I'm all things human. So everything that's human, all the frailties that I ever talk about, I have it. I'm not beyond it. I found constructive, honorable ways to deal with it. I still fall short of it. I rise up and keep going. The same as I am encouraging all my beautiful, wonderful people that come to see me. We're on this journey together. I've just been on it longer, which means that I've done a lot more wrong things than you've done. I've been a lot more stupid than you've been. So when I say I'm going to help you, that doesn't come out of arrogance. No, it comes out of knowing I've learned the hard way between my mistakes, my stupidity, and the guidance of the Holy Spirit. I'm able to bring you amazing understanding of yourself and the world and of others. Well, there's some obvious ways that you know you destroy yourself. When you're drinking alcohol, you know you destroy yourself. A little bit of alcohol has been found to cause cancer. But I didn't, 10, 15 years ago, I didn't know that, but we've known for over 10 years that causes cancer. We know it can cause that if you have an excess sclerosis of the liver. But you're destroying yourself. A lot of people who drink or smoking, they know it causes cancer, it causes lung cancer, but it causes all kinds of esophageal cancer. It even causes bladder cancer. You have people smoking. They enjoy it, or they say they enjoy it, and they're destroying themselves. This is obvious. And it's not like they don't know. They know this is an obvious one. They're destroying themselves. And if you go to a supermarket, you look what people put in their food baskets as they're shopping. It's just saturated with sugar. It's all kinds of beers and alcohols and Twinkies and pork and all kinds of processed foods. And it's not out of ignorance. 50 years ago, it was out of ignorance. Not ignorance anymore. I'll give you an example. Hugh was doing the videography. He says we ought to give this guy royalties and keep talking about this guy, the pancake case, I call it, the pancake case. So I was sitting at a restaurant, a cafe with my wife, and this guy's sitting over there. We had a conversation. He's sitting there with a bunch of his kids. And he says he had diabetes. And his blood sugar level was 300. That's really severe. We talked, and then the foods came out. His food came in first. And I sort of stacked pancakes like that, white pancakes. Now, there's no difference between that pancake and fistfuls of sugar, because that all turns into glucose in the bloodstream. So he had all that, and then he took the syrup and soaked it in syrup, which is like pure sugar. I'm looking out. Wow. Here's the kick. I said, hey, bro, I don't want to butt into your business, so please forgive me. Did you just tell me you have diabetes? He said, yeah, I did. He says, but I just can't resist it. Yeah, I do have diabetes. I did tell you that, but I can't resist it. What did he tell us? He knows he's destroying himself. Yeah, and he was a good guy. I had his lovely children. He knew he was destroying himself. It's not like he was ignorant. It's not like he didn't know what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. He couldn't resist it. And he was destroying himself. I mean, when you have diabetes, you're more prone to every cancer, heart disease, going blind. You know, people with diabetes have limbs amputated, feet amputated. He was prone to all that. And he knew he shouldn't be having it. Well, when he left with his fine young sons, one of them came up to me and hugged me. He says, thank you for trying to help my dad. I tried to help him. The word is tried. I didn't help the guy at all. I'm sure he kept eating pancakes with doused in syrup. He was an intelligent man. He was articulate. Wasn't stupid. And he had fine sons. Now, people who smoke, they know it's deadly. Heck, it's just right on the thing. Known to cause cancer right on the wrappers. Still smoke. I personally know people in my family. My mother smoked, and then she stopped her after she collapsed, and she was hardly functional. She recovered to some extent, but she needed dialysis for her kidneys, and she stayed alive. But it was exhausting to her to get that dialysis. So she suffered for 7 years. She really wanted to die, and she passed on. And she was my mother was wonderful, lovely, lovely person, lovely mother. My father, may he rest in peace. I said, Dad, the way you're eating, it's going to kill you. He said to me, son, I guess it's an unconscious death wish. He knew, son, I guess it's an unconscious death wish. It was just getting bigger and bigger. He analyzed it, unconscious death wish. That fits the writing with 40 in psychology. 1 year later, he was dead. Heart attack going like that. He was driving a car with my mom. He had his Cadillac to drive him along. They had a nice breakfast to drive him along. He said to my mother, Ann, I'm not feeling well. My mother said, Sam, stop doing that. She thought he was kidding around. Car swerved. Fortunately, they were not on the freeway. She had to stop the car. And she called the paramedics. He was already gone. Funny enough, a month later, he got a bill for showing up for a dental appointment. He got to present a death certificate to get out of those missed appointments. But, so my dad, now my father-in-law, a great, great man. I never had the privilege of meeting him. Fine man. And he was a smoker. And he was in Iran. Watched Persian. And the doctor said, if you don't stop smoking, you'll be dead within 6 months. 6 months to the day he died. Boom, heart attack, he was gone. He knew that he's destroying himself. And he still did it. Let's look at me. I took the title strongest drug-free man in the world for my age and weight when I was 65. I bench pressed 365. Then at 70, I set a world record with a power pull-up, padding 140 pounds from a chain belt, and I did a pull-up. Well, in that training procedure, my natural weight's about 160. I blew up to 222. I had a heart attack. I was just eating and eating to get big, eating, mostly muscle because I was training hard. Fat came along with it. My gut got big, but I was powerful. I'll tell you, very, very powerful. So at 61, I had a heart attack. But thank God, they put the stent in. I was good to go. And 4 years later, I set a world record on a bench press with a 365 bench press. And I took the title strongest drug-free man in the world for my age and weight. Of course, I owe my powerlifting feats and my bodybuilding feats, because I'm a world champion bodybuilder, to C.T. Fletcher, because he's like my little brother, and we hung out with each other for many, many years. And so he gave me a lot of good ideas and training, very, very valuable. Then later became one of the most famous weightlifters alive on the planet. He wasn't famous. He was respected, but he wasn't famous back in the day. So now my blood pressure was going up. A lot of my vital signs for my blood work were not good. I was eating food that I knew wasn't good for me, but I just wanted to be big. And I got big. I got strong. I was not healthy. I had sleep apnea. I had sciatica when I'd be walking. Hardly been out of time. My shoe was hard taking long walks. It was rough. But I was strong, one of the strongest men you'd find on the streets. There are guys stronger, but not many. I almost killed myself. Heart attack at 61, prostate cancer at 65, labile hypertension at 67. I did it to myself. No one to blame. It was on me. I knew I was destroying myself, but I wanted to achieve this world championship. Well, then after I went through the labile hypertension, I said, okay, now the job is staying alive. I don't need to set more records. I've done enough. I'm grateful I did it. And so recently I wrote a book called Staying Alive is a Full-Time Job. And Diane, who was a nurse practitioner, my Baha'i sister to me, and she's in North Dakota. She's from the Cameroons. So she's co-authoring with me and adding a lot of good information to it. So we should have that book out right shortly. Staying alive is a full-time job. So now, the foundation of what I eat is greens, beans, and berries. Of course, I'll have some salmon, maybe 3 times a week, garlic, onions, apples, nuts, all kinds of nuts, particularly walnuts, pistachios, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. Now, I have a treat maybe once a week. I'll have a pastry with a cappuccino. That's my little cheat. Not a big cheat, it's a little cheat. So look at Dr. Nerenberg here. I knew I was destroying myself, so I'm not going to point a finger at everybody else. I did it. My mother did it. My father did it. My father-in-law did it. Tell you a secret. Almost everybody I've known who's passed away, 99%, did it to themselves. Heck, I almost passed away. I had what's called the Widowmaker card, 90%, the LAD. That was a killer. By the grace of God, I'm still here. Maybe God has a purpose in my life. Maybe it's that I can present this to you and develop the honor movement. It could be an accident or it could be purpose. So again, when I say this is what people have done, include myself in it. I've learned my lesson. I do my blood work 3-4 times a year. I know what kind of natural things to do to keep it in the good parameters. You definitely want to be taking vitamin D at least 5,000 units a day. Above 30 in your blood work is considered normal. But optimal, you don't want to be normal, you want to be optimal. Optimal is 50 to 80. So to do that, you need at least 5,000 units a day. I do about 6 days a week. I probably average about 7,000 IUs a day, 6 days a week. So I became an expert on health. I'll tell you the truth. Staying alive is not only a full-time job, but guess what? It became a hobby. That sounds funny, doesn't it? Staying alive for me became a hobby. 84 years old. I want to stay with a lot of vitality, a long life, to serve God's will and to serve you. I don't really need much anymore. I've achieved pretty much in a worldly sense everything I've needed to achieve. So we could have done more, but it was enough. So now I'm bringing the honor movement to the people. By the way, we have the book, The Teachings of Honor. It's now in 7 languages. Soon it'll be in Hindi as well as Chinese. It'll be 8 languages. And we have Dr. Nerenberg's Honor Movement videos, or YouTube channel. We have over 1 million views with over 17,000 subscribers. So we're bringing this movement out to the world. That's a little side note for you. Now that's the obvious ones. I'm going to tell you the subtle ones. Now get this one. This is subtle. If you act dishonorably to somebody, you do something wrong. You hurt their feelings, you do something to damage them in some way, financially, emotionally, whatever. You pay a big price for it. The danger is subtle. I'm going to tell you how you're killing yourself with that. We've done something wrong. You don't apologize and repent. Let me tell you what the destruction is for you, as it has been for me. I guarantee you, me, and everybody who's done wrong things will justify. You walk around rehearsing in your mind why you did it to that person, how wrong they were, how right I was, how wrong he is, how right I am. And you might even tell people about, he did this and that and the other thing. I'm the victim here. He's the wrong, bad guy. I'm the good guy. And when you're walking around, nobody's around, you'll still be telling yourself that story. It's a bad story. It's toxic. It's toxic to you. You're destroying yourself with that story. Believe me, murderers, bank robbers, thieves, every form of illegal and criminal activity, I guarantee you they justify it. Even a killer. Well, I never killed nobody that didn't deserve to be killed. I mean, have something like that. Well, I never killed women. I just killed men. I'm very good about how I am. I don't kill kids. I just kill adults. So these people try to say, I'm a good guy. And then justify. Yeah. Justify. If you really look at yourself, you'll see the truth of what I'm saying. Now, if you're a person that thinks you're perfect, and there are people like that, then you'll never see it. You'll never see it. That's why I say, and I mean it when people say, how are you? I say, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm all things human. Because I know I have what's in me. I know I have my dark side. You have your dark side. I don't care how good people think you are or how good you are. You have these other kind of thoughts and inclinations within us. We do. But many people refuse to acknowledge it or just aren't able to see it. I'm a good guy. I wouldn't have those thoughts. I wouldn't do those things. I wouldn't speak those words. Well, there's some really good people around, that's for sure. Many of you are probably amongst them. Too old for you to tell me you don't have that dark side going, oh, no, nobody could fool me. Oh, heck no. I'll give you an example. I was born in 1941. I'm going to tell you something about the 40s and 50s that you didn't know. This is going to shock you, all righty? Are you ready? Nobody in America had any problems. Nobody in this country had any problems. Do you know how crazy that was? Everybody out in public is laughing and talking and smiling and chatting about this and that. No one had a problem. That was the dark side, the hidden side. They were pressed, they were anxious, they were doing things to their kids behind closed doors, to each other. It was all going on. That dark side, nobody had a problem. Now, what people don't appreciate about the times we live in, you have a permission these times to be imperfect. You have permission to have a problem now. Look, you have to fill on TV, all these self-help books. You can have a problem today. I have issues. I get depressed. Some marriage issues from time to time. I'm very afraid of losing my job. Well, you couldn't say that in the 50s. If you hadn't lived through it, you wouldn't believe what I'm saying. So now people can say, well, I might look happy, I might look perfect, but I've got issues. Seeing a therapist, reading self-help books. I'm going to these seminars on motivational seminars, whatever. You can do that now. It's not weird. What a luxury that is. That's freedom. The freedom to be imperfect. I know you don't appreciate it because you haven't lived from the other side. The freedom to be imperfect. The freedom to have problems. So now we're allowed to see ourselves more fully. We're still hiding, but we can at least acknowledge, I have this, that problem, I have that. I'm struggling with this. To acknowledge to others, certainly to ourselves, I'm struggling. Hey, how you doing, Jose? Oh, I'm cool. Oh, man, that's the thing. I'm cool. All right. It's not really true. Maybe at that moment he's cool, but a lot of times he's not cool. Like I say, I'm good. I'm bad. I'm happy. I'm sad. I'm all things human. That's the only normal response there is. There is no other. I say, how you doing, doctor? I'm doing great. I'm cool. I'm great. I'm good. Thank you for asking. There's some truth to it. And maybe that moment is totally true. If you would have talked to me 2 hours ago, I might have been doing some wrong stuff or been sad. So what am I saying? I mean, I'm distorting things. Oh, he's good. He's happy. There's a happy guy. Yeah, I am, but I'm good, I'm bad, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm all things human. Anything other than that is a distortion. Then for some people, I'll add this statement, and I'm definitely not what we say I am. So whatever you think I am, or even what I think I am, I'm not. Oh, no. Not that I lie about myself, but there's more to me than what I can see myself. I know this about each one of you. You are far greater than you seem. You are far more noble than anybody knows. So when people tend to be better than they are, they're really shortchanging themselves. They're better than what they're even pretending to be. We pretend to be this good, but in reality we're that good if we really look at who we are. You are far better than you pretend to be. You are a noble being, an amazing, noble human being with enormous potential, enormous. And you have so much goodness in you, so much constructive intention. As a matter of fact, you've never met anybody who really knows how great you are, and you don't know how great you are. Far beyond what you know. I see my patients, my beautiful, wonderful patients. I call them my people. I'm looking at them. You've got these kids running around, chaos. You're giving so much to your spouse, kids. You manage that household and you're serving the food. You do so many amazing things, serving, sacrificing yourself. I look at so much admiration, so much respect. But that person has no idea how great they are. None. So there is a failure to see your greatness. So you have two things happening. One is you're so great and so noble. And the other is you're destroying yourself. Now, you might worry a lot. Let's say that's one way people destroy themselves. I tell people, you can't help worrying. People tell me, I've been worrying all my life. I'm going to ask you to stop worrying. Say, you get anxious from it? Yeah. I do some deep breathing. Try to do it 4 times an hour. That long exhale activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which suppresses the sympathetic nervous system, which is related to fight, flight, and anxiety. That long exhale calms you down. Is it going to cure your worry? No. It's just going to help. Then, if you believe in God, you say, God willing, I'll be fine. One of the laws of life. God willing, I'll be fine. Does that remove all your worry? No. Well, what does it do? You're speaking a little bit of light into that darkness. God willing, I'll be fine. Or if you're worried about your kids or your family, God willing, we'll be fine. Now, people from the Middle East would go, I'll be fine, inshallah. God willing. Yeah, but it doesn't matter where you are on the earth, there's some way of saying God willing. And it's in the same. If you don't believe in God, you don't want to address God, you just say, I'll be fine, or I hope I'll be fine. Either way, if you believe or non-believe, I'll be fine, or I hope I'll be fine. So that's the way to deal with worry, the deep breathing and speaking some of the light into the darkness. Now, one of the ways you destroy yourself is guilt. So many of my people feel guilty about one thing. Common guilt is, I don't do enough for my kids. Another guilt is, I should be working, I'm not out there making a living, feel terrible about myself. Guilt. My mother and father, they can't really take care of themselves. I should be there more often. I feel so guilty. I don't say, hey, don't feel guilty. You have nothing to feel guilty about. That won't do any good. Your friend might say, hey, you shouldn't feel guilty. Well, hey, well-intentioned advice, but it's not going to do you any good. What I'm going to tell you is going to help you. You need to know this. You need to understand the facts of life. You're doing the best you can, number one. Number two, it's never enough. You do the best you can. We do the best we can. It's never enough. We could have done more. We could have done more. She gave $1 million to charity. Why? I could have made it 1,000,001. Could have put another buck in that. Wouldn't have bothered me. Could have done more. So, feel guilty. And women seem more prone to this than men, but all people have this. Now, you can't help feeling that guilt. Now, when you say to yourself, if you believe in God, first I'll tell you that way, and then without God. With God, you say, God forgives me, and I forgive me. You do it 3 times a day, then as needed. God forgives me, and I forgive. Or God forgives me, and I want to forgive myself. You may not be ready to forgive yourself, so I want to forgive myself. God forgives me, and I want to forgive myself. You don't believe in God, I want to address God. You just say, well, I'm doing the best I can, I forgive myself. Doing the best I can, I do forgive myself. Either way, believe it or not believe it, that's the way to deal with it. Now, what am I really talking about? What's the bottom line? I don't like to use this term because it has so many wrong meanings. So I'm going to tell you something, and but then you have to listen very carefully what I mean because it's used in really wrong ways. Ready? You've heard this before, but not the way I'm going to tell you. You have to love yourself. You have to love yourself. Now, a lot of people think that loving yourself means I'm number one, put myself first, creates a very selfish, self-centered, narcissistic way of life. Hey, you want that car, go get it. You want that massage, get the massage. You want to eat that, go ahead and eat it. I mean, you deserve it. Well, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I wouldn't call it self-love. I would call it taking care of yourself, pampering yourself. It's self-love. Do not call that self-love. It's taking care of yourself, pampering yourself, and that's great. But that's not what I'm talking about. Self-love means to live with honor. If you don't live with honor, you're going to damage yourself. You're going to destroy yourself. You're going to have regrets. Tell my patient, you're 30 years old. I care about you this way, and I want to help you. But that's who you are right now is a small part of my concern. I'm concerned about you, 95, 105. That's the person I'm addressing. Because I want you to say when you're that age, Dr. Nerenberg, I've lived a life of honor, and I have no regrets. I've lived a life of honor and I have no regrets. I'm looking at the trajectory of your whole life. It's to create a no-regret life. And you can have that. You have to follow the way of honor. So to do that, you have to recite the 4 commands of honor 3 times a day with the bridge. 4 commands of honor. I wish you well. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality, my problems. Grateful for the power I gain from hardship. Then one of 2, depends whether you believe in God or not. If you believe in God, as I do, God, your wish is my only wish. If you don't believe in God or want to address God, I seek always to serve my highest values. And you do that 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. You have to do it all your life. You can't stop. I tell my patients, are you committed to doing this all your life? Yes, I am. So when you're not in therapy, you're going to keep it up, right? Yes, I will. Well, that's good. That's good. So make a lifetime commitment to it. Then we add the bridge, which just optimize the possibility you're going to apply it in any situation. The bridge is this. What's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? What's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? Just that 3 times a day. Then any situation you're in, honor becomes the gold standard. So you don't say, what would make me happy? No, we're not looking for happiness, we're looking to live with honor. What's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? It'll come to you, and you do that. Now, it turns out that honor is the foundation of true happiness and peace. You cannot be at peace or truly happy without honor. You could have fun, you could have entertainment, you could have excitement, but that's not true happiness. There's nothing wrong with it. You have entertainment, that's not true happiness. Living with honor is. So when you live with honor, you commit yourself to your life to that. You're not going to be perfect. You're going to fall. It's okay. You be honest with yourself. You're aware, gee, I've fallen, I've deviated from the path. You repent, you get back up. When you can, it may not be immediately, but you work towards coming back up, and you're back on the path. So be patient with yourself. Somebody's a smoker, not able to stop right now. I tell people, you'll stop in your time. It's going to happen. Your time was God's time. You will. I'm not pressuring them. I talk to them, how could you, I say to a drug dealer or a drug addict, I say, I know you're not going to stop doing this. Let's see if we can make you an honorable drug dealer, an honorable drug addict, an honorable smoker. Honor demands we live with health. Honor demands it. There's 25 demands of honor. That's one of them. Why do I say that? Well, let's take a smoker. Says, well, it's my life. I'm a smoker. We all got to die sometime. I'm going to enjoy myself. I said, okay. You may not like how you die. You may have a heart attack and survive and be an invalid. You may have a stroke and, they're going to have to wheel around all the time and have to take care of you. And you're going to become a burden to your loved ones. You become a burden to the hospital system. People would have to raise higher premium because you were a smoker. You're another expense coming into the medical system. That's not honorable. If you knowingly do this to yourself and you make yourself into a burden and useless to the family, that's not honorable. So you do all you can to take care of your health. Now, you get run over by a car, some crazy situation, a drive-by shooter. That's a victim. But eating these foods, having addicted to foods and alcohol, or addicted to anger. A person that stays angry chronically, more prone to heart attacks, more prone to strokes. The mind-body connection is well established. No question around it in terms of the neurohumors that are secreted, the effect on our digestion, the effect on the biodome that we have in terms of microorganisms that live with us. All of that's all affects the cortisol levels. All of it's affected by your mental situation. You don't sleep well. That's maybe because you're so stressed out, or you're very angry and upset. So when you're angry and upset at somebody, which will destroy you, look, somebody stabs you psychologically. It's just wrong to do. Most people take the knife and go like that with it. They ruminate on it, go over and over and over it, get angry, and play revenge. So it's what what they do to you matters. What you do to you with it is horrific. That's where you destroy yourself. So you're getting into that anguish. I just want to sit. Listen. It's normal. And then you go, speak light into the darkness. How do you do that? One of the commands of honor. I wish you well. I wish you well. Does that cure the anger? No. It speaks a little light into that darkness. And what happens when you do that consistently is that negativity will come less often, with less intensity and less duration. That's the beautiful thing. Now, have negativity in you is normal. And in a major study at the University of Maryland, it found that 80% of people's thoughts are negative, and 95% of those are repeating within themselves. So having these constructive, positive, honorable thoughts is not really natural. Call it supernatural, where you're stepping above it. And it'll cut down your stress. Do you know what the cause of all stress, all of it? Loss of perspective. You say, oh, I see the nature of this life. Wow. It's, I'm having a problem with my spouse. She's so disrespectful to me. I can't stand her. And that's what your whole life is. That exists just through that narrow perspective. And for that moment, what she did to you is not the problem. It's that you lost sight of how much is in your life. You have this finger, that finger, that finger, this eye, that eye, roof over your head, food on the table. We forget about all the wonderful bounties that we're immersed in. So the issue for the stressor is not what your boss said, what your wife said, what your husband said. It's what you lose sight of. That you're immersed in abundance. Well, I'm immersed, we're all immersed in abundance. So being a person of honor, ambassador of honor, a disciple of honor, following this path, it completely widens the perspective so you get less constricted. It optimizes the scope of perspective, and that takes you out of part of the way of taking yourself out of a stress reaction. Again, the cause of all stress, loss of perspective, the cure is to enhance your perspective. Even somebody dying, you believe in God, you say, well, I'm going to leave this earth. It's very stressful. I want to stay alive. But with your spiritual perspective, you say, well, I'm an eternal soul. It's going to be really good on the other side. Get to see my loved ones, and it's a portal to pure love, light and bliss, and reunion with loved ones. So it's going to be pretty good. So don't get too worried about when I go on. Don't keep grieving and crying. It's going to be a good step for me. And I'll do what I can from you from the other side. So that perspective, wider perspective, and even it will reduce your stress. Now, even if you don't believe, there's so many studies of legitimate witnesses by near-death experiences. Flatline, in fact, I have a good friend who did flatline 3 times. Well, in his case, he saw his mother come as a light. She had passed away a few years earlier. She said, I didn't see God, but she intervened and asked me to be able to remain here. And I said, I knew I was okay. I came back. You have some people who pass away and the doctors revive them and they come back and they're really angry. Why did you revive me? They liked it so much on the other side. So that perspective, wide perspective, reduces stress. The constriction of perspective causes stress, anxiety, depression. Well, this is an overview and my showing you the teachings to how to stop destroying yourself. How to stop destroying yourself. It's been a pleasure presenting this to you. I've talked about the ways that you destroy yourself in obvious ways and subtle ways. And I've given you the cure for all of it. It's a matter of following it. Even if you follow it imperfectly, I follow it imperfectly, still we're on that path in the right direction. So now I'm going to open up to all our wonderful, beautiful people here in the audience. When you speak up, it's as meaningful to other people as anything I have to say. And it's very good because people feel less alone on their journey, and they feel part of a wonderful, beautiful community. I hear that all the time from my patients, all the time. So without further ado, I want to open it for you to ask or say anything you want to say. And if other people are speaking, just jot down, and when things quiet down, then please speak up. I know so many of you are deep, intelligent people, and we would love to hear from you.
I just got inspired by everything. So I just came up with like a little model for myself. I will embrace self-love by living with honor for eternity. Thanks.
I'm really glad you referred to honor, because that's a key concept. Living with honor is true self-love. I'm really glad you said that. And it emphasizes the point. And you always have a great takeaway, because I get those texts from you. You know, you coined the term ambassador of honor, and it's a beautiful term. And I know you're committed for the rest of your life. So when you said for eternity, I know you mean that, just that. Thank you, Gisela.
I totally do. Your program has just validated who I really was, because I had those self-doubts that you talk about, that, you know, our environment or surroundings will cause, or our jobs will cause us to feel. And you just make me feel so empowered by just believing in myself and not letting.
Wow. Thank you for saying that, because that reminded me of something I forgot to say. So when it comes to self-esteem and self-respect, if it's depending on your job, how beautiful you are, how handsome you are, what house you have, you're in trouble, because health and accidents of society can destroy that. So the statement you want to use is this: my self-respect and self-esteem depend only on my honor. My self-respect and self-esteem depend only on my honor. That's the cure for that. You need to say 3 times a day, and it'll be a slow shift. You can't help being, dependent on how you look, how beautiful you are, how handsome you are, what kind of job. I'm not saying that'll stop, but it's going to start shifting slowly to, I'm an honorable person, I'm an honorable woman, I'm an honorable man. And that's going to be the source of your self-esteem and self-respect. And that's going to take you beyond these other influences of what other people say about you. That's where my self-respect and self-esteem depend only on my honor. That's the journey. Thank you so much. I forgot to tell everybody that. Gisela, you really helped me remember that. Thank you again. Who else? Now, there was a lineup of people who want to say something, so let me hear from who else tried to speak.
Hey, Dr. Nerenberg, this is John.
John, always good to hear from you, John. What you text me and what you say at these meetings are just awesome and uplifting. Thank you. What is that you'd like to say today, John?
Well, I would definitely say, sir, that the commandments are 4 commandments that we have to do, that I repeat all the time. They inspire me to just do better. And if I can do that, then I build myself up instead of breaking myself down.
They inspire to be their best true selves. So many people told me it's inspired me to be my best true self.
Best true, yes.
And that's a fact. That's what it'll do. Because if I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. What that does is, if you're just blaming somebody, you're always the victim, you're always right, and the other person's always wrong, it's not going to bring out your best self, because more than likely, you're contributing to the problem. You're co-creating it. Even if you didn't start the problem, you've added fuel to the fire. You say, look, I apologize. I've added fuel to this fire. I apologize. Please forgive me. And the other person may not take responsibility for their share, probably won't. But you released, you get a tremendous release of trying to justify the wrong that you did. Believe me, that self-justification of your wrongs will kill you. I've done it in my life, a lot of my life. I don't do it anymore. I've done it for a long time. I really started catching on around 70 years of age. I want you to catch on much earlier than I did. John, thank you so much for saying that, John. Beautiful, wonderful. Thank you, as always, John.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
You're most
Same
welcome.
thing with the reading, the books, the videos. Everything just makes everything feel better and make me want to bring the best of myself.
That's what's intended to do. I'm not telling you anything you didn't know. You knew those 4 commands of honor already existed within you. We call them commands because you're commanding it to arise in the consciousness, into your thoughts, words, and actions. It was already there. I was just highlighting it and say you're going to do it 3 times a day for life. That and the bridge. Didn't tell you anything you didn't know. And the beautiful thing is consistent with every religion, every philosophical system there is. Maybe not in terms of Satan worship, but everything outside of that. It's consistent with it. Doesn't matter what religion you are. So, very good. Very, very good. I'm so happy to hear from you, John, as always. Your contributions are always very illuminating. And your wonderful, beautiful intentions are really very uplifting and inspiring for me and to others. Thank you, John.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Nerenberg, Diego here.
Oh, Diego in Thailand, right? You still there?
Yes, sir. Good morning from Thailand.
Oh, wow. Is that really Thailand behind you?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's wonderful.
Yeah, Doctor, really appreciate your insights here that you provided during the session here. And I just wanted to start off by saying that I know you've had health issues in the past. I know you went through, you've had cancer survivor, as well as heart attack survivor. So I'm glad that you were able to persevere through all that, and that we still have a chance to have you on this earth, because you are certainly making a difference with your movement, and you certainly made a difference for me. I'm sure everyone else feels the same here. But yeah, just wanted to start off by saying that I'm just glad that you're still here and that I've gotten a chance to.
You know, Diego, first I gave you the book, The Teachings of Honor in Thai. Have you had a chance to share it with any of the Thai brothers and sisters in Thailand yet?
Not yet. Haven't really made any significant connections like that with the local people as of yet to to give them that sort of material. But I have it, and I'm sure I'll spread it eventually.
You know, we have it now in 7 languages, going on 8 languages. We have it in English, Spanish, Thai. We have it in Arabic, Hebrew, Chinese, and we're getting it put into Hindi. Of course, we have it in English. So the next one's Hindi with 8 languages. We're trying to, the videos are going all over the world with over 1 million views. But we're looking to get the books distributed throughout the world as well. So anything else you wanted to add to that, Diego? I know that was kind of a build up to something else you wanted to say.
Yeah, for sure, Doc. I just wanted to say that I recently started doing the 4 commands of honor in the midst of my gym sessions and between reps when I'm skipping rope. And man, I'll tell you this, it strikes a different tone, man. When you're when you're working out and you do it, when you're clicking on all cylinders and you're just like in peak flow state and you recite those things, it just strikes a different tone. So I'd encourage everyone to do something like that as well. Do those commands of honor when you're in peak state. And you might feel something else. I know I certainly did.
It's amazing you're saying that. When I first started talking about power thoughts before I turned it into the honor system, I would have people do exercise, maybe pressing their arms together or lifting weights. When I taught to the Army, I had them doing push-ups during the seminar and reciting what I used to call power thoughts. In fact, I recently published a book, and I have a co-author, Diana, who's in North Dakota, nurse practitioner, called Staying Alive is a Full-Time Job. We should have it ready for publication within a week. And it's about 500 pages, long book. And I go into the nutritional approach to staying alive, the supplements, the exercise, and the thoughts. Because thoughts are part of health and longevity. So nurse practitioner Bert and I published a paper called Words is Medicine, how that can help heal people just through words. The point is that what you've said about the honor movement, what the teachings of honor and the commands of honor are doing for you, and how it gets heightened through exercise, takes me back to the old days. Back in the day, that's what we did. I haven't been talking about that lately. Thanks for renewing that, because it is in my book, in our book. It's in there. I'm really glad you mentioned it. Thank you for that, Diego. And I believe that completely.
Thank you, Doctor. Much love to you, my brother.
Love to you, brother. Much love. The Lazansky effect, Lazanov effect, he was in Bulgaria, he did some research. He found if you're squeezing a ball while you're trying to memorize, that's a higher remembrance level than if you don't squeeze. So the physical tension of just squeezing enhanced memory. Lazanov. I was looking at that back in the 70s. In fact, a doctoral dissertation at the United States International University, a guy did his dissertation at my clinic there, gaining further evidence for that. But yeah, it's a well-known effect, the Lazarnov effect. I think it was Bulgaria or in Russia, one or the other. So there's some evidence-based to the physical tension part of it, physical exercise during mental aspects of our lives, cognitive aspects. Thank you, Diego. What a pleasure always to hear from you from Thailand. Wow. Yeah. So we had a good friend. He was reminding me of a good friend, Richard. He was a martial artist, top-notch, very well known in the whole area, in the Whittier and surrounding areas. He had his own dojo and very well attended. But he died at an early age, like 61, rectal cancer. He used to eat whatever he wanted. He thought he can get away with it, and so he used to do barbecues. Well, barbecue is nothing wrong. That's great, but he was barbecuing every day. And if you're blacking the meat, it's carcinogenic. You're blacking that meat, it's carcinogenic. Tastes good, but it's carcinogenic. So you got to cook it slowly. He had an early death. He used to think he could get away with doing anything, eating anything, and it didn't work. I knew a guy, Big Al. He was like, learned so many amazing things from that guy. And he used to smoke. And he said, well, it's not what you put in your mouth, what comes out of your mouth. So he was taking a biblical verse to support that. It's what comes out of your mouth that destroys you. Well, he died of a heart attack at 65. I mean, he turned away from looking at, hey, smoking can kill you, and it did. And he tried to convince himself that's what comes out of your mouth and not what goes in your mouth. Well, he took it literally, something that wasn't meant to be literal from the Bible, which people do at times. He died a long time ago. He was a big, powerful guy, a great motorcyclist, and led a very interesting life and influenced many people, including me. So, yeah, thanks for reminding me about Richard.
Also, the diseases that start with gut bacteria.
Yeah. Well, there are many people, people don't know about the disease that starts from, when you take an antibiotic, it kills off the gut bacteria, and you particularly need the bifidus and the acidophilus. So you can get that from yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, fermented foods. Well, when you take an antibiotic, it kills it all off. So you need to make sure you're getting that afterwards. Or if you're going to get a colonoscopy, you drink that sodium solution, it kills it all off. Doctors don't tell you this. Make sure you're getting probiotics. The prebiotics feed it. The prebiotics, like fiber, will feed those probiotics to grow in your gut. You also have it in your mouth. You have probiotics in your mouth, particularly Streptococcus salivarius. That's one that helps prevent tooth decay and gum disease, whereas Streptococcus mutans will destroy your teeth. So if you're going to use Listerine, you're killing it all off. You want to make sure you take what is healthy probiotics. Life Extension has one called Oral Health. Or find some way to restore a healthy probiotic in your mouth. And your microbiome in your mouth affects, well, if you have a dysbiosis, a bad balance of bad bacteria to good bacteria, you're more prone to heart attacks, you're more prone to cancer, you're more prone to inflammation. So, but a lot of people don't know about that, so they don't know they're destroying themselves. But the information's out there, but I'm just giving you a heads up on it. And thanks for reminding me, Hugh. Who else has something you would like to ask or say?
Hello, sir.
Yes. Oh, there you are. Good to see you, Cindy.
Hi. I just wanted to share something that, I've been thinking about it. So, we all know, not that we don't know, that smoking is bad. We know that alcohol is bad. We do. People know, and we know it. But the thing is that what in our behavior that cause us to basically pick the route where you don't drink, you don't drive, or do the bad things, right? We all know it's bad.
Oh, let me interrupt you.
I felt like it's because it's not in line with our actions. And then this honor movement, it's like a guardrail. It's like antidote. It's like a motivation for you to basically have a direction on building that courage to actually overcome the bad behaviors that you have, because we all have things to fix. And a lot of time we know what it is, but we choose not to do it.
Well, Cindy, that was so eloquent. And by the way, I read your translation of the Buddhist teachings every day. Every day I'm in my office. I have it right on my desk. I thank you for that. Translation is awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
Much respect. Thank you. Well, here's how it goes. One, people get addicted to the smoking, the drinking, drugs, whatever. That's number one. But what you need to know is people will put enjoyment. They enjoy that cigarette. They enjoy the drinking. Enjoyment over staying alive. If you say to people, do you want a long, healthy life? They'll say, yeah. Who doesn't? What people say, and then you look at what they eat and how they live, you go, this person's killing himself. So there's often a disparity between what we're doing and what we say. So, very well said. Now, my father, when I asked him, Dad, you're killing yourself. And he said, son, I guess it's an unconscious death wish. That's what Freud talked about, an unconscious death wish. Could be an unconscious death wish. That's one way of looking at it. And there's probably some truth to that. The other is, people say, well, we all have to die sometime. I want to enjoy myself. So again, come back to enjoyment. And the other is that people, even though their mind knows it, they don't really believe it. It's been told to them and say, that doesn't apply to me. At some level, they say, well, it's not going to apply to me. So that's how they dismiss it. But also, there is a very self-destructive dimension. Look at humankind. Look what we do to ourselves. We're destroying ourselves in wars and how we treat each other, how we treat ourselves. But honor is the way out of that. And certainly the divine educators, there are many, whether you're talking about Jesus Christ or Moses or Muhammad or Baha'u'llah or Buddha or Krishna or Zoroaster, all the great divine teachers that have come here, they've showed us a way out of that. And so I would say their words and their teachings have certainly inspired me to be able to present the honor teachings. So we have the 4 commands of honor, the bridge, the 25 laws of honor, 25 demands of honor, the supremacy of honor code. But you can get by just with the 4 commands of honor and the bridge. That'll do the job. If you want to get more into it, you can go with the full system. So I would say what you've said was very profound, comes to the heart of the matter. And, I'll give you an example using myself as a failure along this. I had a felony 2014. I had to go to the judge and speak to her before she sentenced me. It had to do with some issues that I had with the federal government. And I said, Your Honor, I knew the difference between right and wrong, and I deliberately chose wrong over right. I deliberately chose wrong over right, and I knew the difference. I justified it. I would see people from the post office. I'd see somebody 6 months or a year. It was rejected by the government. They didn't get paid, but I didn't get paid. So I used to overbill for the other sessions I was having. I knew it was criminal and faced the consequence of that. But I will tell you this, though. So I said to her, Your Honor, I knew the difference between right and wrong. And I deliberately chose wrong over right. I said, I don't blame society. I don't blame my parents. It's on me. Now, the foods, people know this is healthy. This is going to kill me. You deliberately choose the death food over the life food. Nobody to blame on it. I chose this. I chose to die and not live. So when you're on your deathbed dying, you don't complain. I did it to myself. At least I did it to myself. Best you can do. I at least said that to her. By the way, I did say to her, I said, I do feel some regret for my criminal actions. And more than regret, I'm grateful to you and the arresting officers because I never would have stopped. And the last thing I said to her was, I've not always lived with honor, but I will die with honor. I never spoke to Judge Snyder again, February 4th, 2014. And from that statement and that event was born the honor movement. Traces a step right back to that time. That's the good that came out of it. See, you always want to look for what's the best true story I can tell myself about this problem. So I tell people, I wouldn't be half the man I am today if I wasn't a felon who repented. Now, I was also a self-destructive eater, and I stopped in time before I was dead. And I'm very healthy now in so many ways. So the whole thing is to turn it around. Once you live by honor, then you're going to seek healthier alternatives, because honor demands taking care of ourselves. Not just for selfish reasons, and also not to become a burden to our loved ones and to society. Cindy, thank you so much. I'm really glad you spoke up. I'm very, very glad you did. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for that book. It's meaningful to every day I open it up.
Thank you, sir.
Every day.
It's a motivation. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else has something you'd like to say?
How you doing, Doc? How's it going?
Jerry, there you are, brother. Good.
Well, bouncing back to that, how we destroy ourselves, with alcohol, which we know what we're doing with food. We know what we're doing. One thing that I know that I'm guilty of, I'm sure someone else in the room probably might be, it's a little more subtle, and it's procrastination. We procrastinate. I certainly am guilty of procrastination, of, getting things that we know we got to do. The same thing, right? We know we shouldn't drink. We know we shouldn't smoke.
Let's talk about procrastination.
We do it.
Let's talk about procrastination. The thing that's very destructive of procrastination is person procrastinate, they know they should do it to fulfill their destiny, to fulfill their potential, and they're not doing it. So there's a certain amount of self-loathing or guilt. No, I should be doing it. I'm not doing it. This person says, yeah, it could be a certain amount of self-loathing comes from that guilt. See, I could have been somebody. Now that procrastination comes out of fear of failure. Fear of failure. Now, there's a lifestyle that can take you beyond it if you follow it. You plan, jump in, mess it up, clean it up. Plan, jump in, mess it up, clean it up. The leaders in the honor movement, you know what I say to them? I want you to go out and really mess this up as you bring this out to society. Just make a lot of mistakes, mess it up. The more you mess it up, the better I like it. Because the real danger is not doing anything. I'd rather you do something in a wrong way and mess it up, but just clean it up as best you can afterwards. So that's the philosophy to get you beyond that. Plan, jump in, mess it up, clean it up. If you follow that, if you recite that to yourself, I would write it down. At some point, it'll take hold in you, and you become less afraid of messing it up. But some people cannot tolerate making a mistake. Maybe somebody, when they were a child, got severely punished if they made a mistake, or destroyed their self-image if they make a mistake. If you have that, plan, jump in, mess it up, clean it up. And people say to me, Doctor, how do you do so much? All this writing and lectures and should be power lifter and bodybuilder and the whole honor system. I just jump in. I mess up a lot of stuff. And I clean it up. I learned that from a guy that never graduated for 8th grade, just how he lived his life. His name was Buck. He was a retired drug dealer. And I learned that from him when I was about 28 years old. I saw him. A bunch of us intellectuals be talking about what we do. We live in this commune, and we talk about how we want to raise crops and fix the cars and do this. While we were talking, Buck would be out there doing it all. That's one thing. He just did it, jumped in. But the interesting thing about Buck is he screwed up. Half of what he did was a mess. And then he fixed it up, cleaned it up. I saw that. I go, wow. Yeah. Changed my life. A retired drug dealer who never finished 8th grade changed my life. Plan, jump in, mess it up, clean it up. Buck has no idea that he changed my life. No idea. But he did. Thank you for that, Jerry.
Thank you, Doc. I appreciate it.
Always. Your input is always magnificent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Who else has something you'd like to say?
Hey, Doc, this is Robert. How are you doing, sir?
Robert, good to hear from you, Robert. Good to see you.
Yeah, Jerry had something that just kind of sparked my memory. It's just a year and a half ago or so, I had a kind of a really thing thrown in my face. I was pushing 380, thought, I eat healthy, I'm fine. And, I wasn't really being reality to myself.
Yeah, you weigh 380 pounds, big guy, 380 pounds. Yeah,
big guy. I'm a big guy. I'm still 260, but I lost over 120 pounds this last year. But what took me is realistically somebody filming pretty much a week of what I was eating. I always say, I knew health foods. I knew that, I'm eating healthy, until I really sat and looked at a film or basically what I ate for a week. And really, it was a shock, of what I was really putting in my body.
So what was what are you putting in your body?
Oh my God! It was just the portion size. It's like, you're eating nice, good, lean meat chickens, but it's like a whole chicken, It was, multiple times a day, and just you think you're doing things, and then the reality sets in, and the delusion of what you think you're doing and what you're reality doing. And then like the procrastination of things, you start thinking, and then just the reality hits you. But when you do finally push and start moving and do it, and then I recently have taken more pictures of what I do eat, and it's a whole lot different now. So the discipline's there, and then you do, like I said, the 4 commandments of honor and living the life of honor. It does get a lot easier. Like I said, I've lost, over about 140 pounds, and I continue to go and continue to do it. Feel a lot better, and it is a life-changing experience. So,
well, you're definitely a you're a great motivational speaker, I have to say. I mean, you speak with so much passion and insight and self-honesty, and you've dealt with a lot of issues in your life, and you are dealing with issues in your life. You've been high up there financially, you've been low financially.
Still a long way to go.
You're a person that's seen it all over the world, a world traveler, and have done many remarkable things. Much respect, my brother. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
Yep, wanted to share that.
I'm glad you did. Who else has something you want to ask or say?
I have a question.
Yes. Who's speaking?
Jose.
Jose. Oh, very good to hear from you, Jose.
My question is, so with kind of what you were saying, how you need to also look inside you, right, and find ways to improve yourself. Something I feel like I'm struggling with, though, would be the opposite of that, which is I feel like I'm doing maybe almost too much of that. Like, I understand that it's always good to be a good person and find ways to improve yourself, but sometimes it gets really exhausting trying to always find a better way to be better, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a vacation from being good. I'm not saying be bad, but sometimes have some period of time where you're just being, and not trying to be something, but just being. So one way to do that, I'll show one of the laws of honor is this. Take a deep breath. I'm here now, right now. Enjoy the moment. That gets the way. I'm not trying to be anything. I'm here now. So the way to do that is you have to get into the moment. So you're not planning how you're going to be in the future or looking at what you've done in the past. To the extent that you get yourself in the moment of the now, that's your vacation from that. By the way, I always say vacation is not a location. It's a state of mind. So when you bring yourself into the present, you see things more clearly. Well, everything's more vivid. You notice things in your environment you never noticed before. That's the period of not trying and just being. So that's the solution. The deep breathing. I'm here now, right now. Enjoy the moment, which is one of the laws of honor. Really appreciate you bringing it up, Robert. That's a key point. Jose, key point.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's really insightful, Thank you. I really appreciate that.
You're most welcome. I'm so glad you brought this up because allows us to expand the presentation in a really good way for all of us, including myself. Take that moment to be present. Now, who else has something you'd like to ask or say?
Do you think that somebody who has tried to be an honorable person through their life can't appreciate the changes the honor movement makes in them as someone who was a bad person?
Well, the question is, if somebody's been a decent person, tried to be honorable all their lives, will they appreciate the honor movement more than somebody who's been a bad person? Well, I would say this. So many people say, I've always lived this way. I've been a good person, but now you've given me the vocabulary and a way to make me even better. So I tell people, the commands of honor, the way of honor, takes a good person and makes them even better. Now, somebody's been a bad person going through ways of dishonor. They may, not really want to get into this. But here's the thing: you may have somebody who's going the wrong way, and at some point they say, this isn't working for me. I'm really looking to get out of this way of life. I'm tired of it. That person will be receptive to it. But if somebody's really just committed to a certain lifestyle and they're not ready to go in a more constructive way, they're not going to respond to it at all. But just hearing it, they may, in 5 or 10 years say, what, I remember the commands of honor. I think I'm going to look into that.
As for somebody who's been a bad person, joining the alchemy movement, the dramatic change it would make in their life would be so much more substantial than someone who's tried to be a good person.
Well, if somebody's been a bad person, stepping into that will become so much more of an improvement, creates more of a light. You have some people, they call it jailhouse religion. A lot of people in prison turn to religion. They come out, and boy, they are sincere. They are dedicated. They were bad people, and when they turn to God, they're a phenomenon, really. So, that is true what you're saying. Now, let's look at it. Let's take an extension of that. Let's say you see an old lady waiting across the street, and a Boy Scout comes up and helps her go across. You say, "Oh, isn't that nice?" Boy Scout took her across. But let's say an old lady standing at a street corner, and it's really rough, tattooed, mean-looking guys right there. Looks like he's going to knock her over and steal her purse. And he looks at her. She's scared. She says, "May I help you?" And he helps her go across the street. People go, "What? Wow, look at that guy. He helped that old lady across the street. He robbed her purse. He helped her get across the street." So it creates a greater light. So in a certain sense, the greater the evil you come from when you do good, the light is stronger by contrast. And very good point. It's even more beautiful. It's all good either way, but it's even more beautiful when there's the repentance and then the goodness that gets done. And when someone who's been running the bad way, at some point they say, "I don't want to do that anymore." And so they become very firm and consistent, more than maybe others, and going the right direction in life, the honorable way. Very good point. Thank you, Hugh. Well, it's my pleasure to present to you the very important topic, how to stop destroying yourself. Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you and have your attention on this very vital matter. And for all the inspiration it brings to you, for all the inspiration it brings to me, I'm grateful.